if I had to sort of look at how I had to deal with things, when I was around white people, so to speak, I had to deal with questions like, you know, am I white, or, you know, because there was no one else around, so, you know, I had to be as white as I could be so they would accept me, so I had to assimilate. But then on the other hand, every once in a while they look at me and they say, oh, he's Chinese, he must know all about this Chinese stuff, so let's go ask him to read this, or translate this, or demonstrate kung fu, or show us something about, you know, some Chinese concept. Of course, I didn't know any of that stuff, so I couldn't really explain it. So then, when I got in the other situation, I came over here and I was surrounded by Chinese people, so I had different problems. So I had to figure out, well, can I pass as Chinese? You know, how can I not be conspicuous? And how can, you know, I avoid getting rejected by Chinese? Because it was pretty clear to them I was an imposter. So I didn't know enough about Chinese culture. So I became Chinese while I was in high school and college. And then for the next quite a few years, in a way, I kind of found myself in the areas where there weren't very many Chinese at that time. Times have changed now. But like when I went to graduate school in Illinois, when I taught in Long Beach, when I taught in Toronto, I returned to the world of mostly white, you know, and in some cases black and white, but there weren't too many Asians around, so I had to kind of like forget about my Chineseness again for a while, because it wasn't that functional. So, that's the problem that you're in. You know, you're sort of this, you're not this, you're not that. From my perspective, the way my early experience was. So, you know, I had to sort of like learn to look around, see around. Oh, they're all white people. Okay, now I'm white. Okay, no, they're all Asian. Now I'm Asian. You know, so you had to like code switch. And I think that's kind of what I did. Now, interestingly, now that I retired from, you know, teaching and so forth, and I started thinking about, you know, my growing up in the South. My original intent was to write about my mother when I wrote this book, because of all the difficult life that she had and all the respect and admiration for all the things that she went through. Even though at the time I was growing up, I didn't always appreciate it. So it turned out that I got advice, and it was good advice. They said, you can't write this book about your mother. Your mother can be a character in the book, but the book has to be about you. And so that's where I had to sort of change. And then it became this Southern fried rice thing. And so at the time I wrote it, I have to say, I really wasn't sure how useful it was going to be. It was sort of like, I don't know, therapeutic or whatever. You're just going to write this down. But the responses to it has been very good from a lot of different people, not all Chinese necessarily, because I found that a lot of people experience some sort of isolation or some sort of being different or being alone, and different people draw different things from it. And it's always kind of amazed me, all the different things that people come up and tell me, well, this is my favorite part, or this is my favorite part, or I can relate to this. So it's been quite an eye-opener for me. And so what I've been sort of telling people, I said, you know, it's really kind of interesting how I was Chinese, and then I wasn't Chinese, and now as I'm, you know, doing all these books, I've suddenly become more Chinese than ever. I mean, I've learned a lot about Chinese history, and I found that it's very valuable, because there's a lot of things, well, like this, because I'm in a unique, relatively unique situation, being one of the few Southern Chinese of that era, and who's writing about this, and I kind of felt that if no one wrote about this, then after it's, you know, we're all gone, then there won't be any record of it. And so I felt like it was useful to do that. And that's why this Mississippi project that I'm working on is so important, because it's a different kind of project from any that I've done before, because this is more of a autobiographical thing. Now I'm dealing with a lot of people who, unlike the Laundry Book, in the Laundry Book everybody I dealt with has already gone on, virtually. So in the Mississippi book, I'm dealing with a lot of people who are still alive and who have lots of stories to tell me, and who are, you know, just showering me with information. I'm almost information overload, but it's very exciting, and they have this sense that they really need to get, you know, more of their history told. So I feel very fortunate to have gotten in good with them in that regard, and so that's the background of the book, and I appreciate your attention.